Well, first word of the day is politics, and actually you'd be surprised where this came from. This is a quote from a very, very, very famous politician, statesman, and orator. The national budget must be balanced. The public debt must be reduced. The arrogance of the authorities must be moderated and controlled. Payments to foreign governments must be reduced if the nation doesn't want to go bankrupt. People must learn again to work instead of living on public assistance. So who was this famous person? Cicero, 55 BC, Roman author, orator, and politician. So to tell you the truth, it looks like the more things change, the more they stay the same. And that's absolutely a fact. So, anyway, through the smoke and mirrors and the bong pipe, we're going to try to make some sense out of what's going on. Actually, what's going on, too. Like, we saw gold took off like a meteor last Friday, and then it went down and it went up, and like, what the hell's going on, right? Well, actually, that might have been, I didn't know what it was at first, but then it might have actually been because of the polls they were showing on the Swiss referendum, because right now Switzerland, actually, they have 8% of their required reserves in gold, and they want to bring it up to 20%. That's a referendum. So one poll showed it that it didn't have much support, so gold went. First they thought the referendum was going to go through. Then they saw a poll that it didn't look like it was good. Gold went down. Then there's another poll that said it looked like it was pretty popular. So that kind of explains the ups and downs on the gold, So, but in the meantime, don't worry, be happy. There's a 1,000-gallon container here of Prozac, billion milligrams or whatever the hell it is. Probably that's what's going on that you need with these markets, because there's so much stuff going on. Actually, it's becoming confusing. But, there's a lot of different events going on whereby, the Order of the Snake is fighting back. Actually, the Order of the Snake, we'll call the Order of the Snake the UK Independence Party, because they just dealt a very crushing blow to Prime Minister David Cameron, which tells you that old Nigel Farage is actually becoming a force to be reckoned with, and to hell with the New World Order, to hell with the EU and all that other stuff. So, and to hell with globalism. We got to get back to nation states and law and order here, unlike what's going on with the elite, with the pentagram here. Actually, a lot of people like to blame things on certain religions and things like that, but really what's going on, it's the devil doing this damn stuff. I'm going to tell you right now, it is the devil. We got the Hegelian dialect working full time too. East versus West, good guy versus bad guy. It depends on how you want to look at it. But, it's we the people against all the elite in the world. We don't need any of these jerks, to tell you the truth. That's the way I look at it. But today, we saw quite a bit of a spring up in the metals, especially Palladium taking a big charge. Now, I've always maintained that Palladium is going to do well because, there's also the supply and demand issue, because of a lot more of the middle class is driving cars, and that's coming on stronger and stronger in other nations where they never drove cars. Even in Saudi and Iran and Iraq and whatever else, there's more and more people driving cars. So it's actually putting a demand on oil in those nations that export a lot of oil, so they don't have as much to export. Then I'll also mention the thing about the nuclear reactors that were shut down in Japan and Germany after Fukushima, which puts more demand on liquid natural gas. So, it's like, it doesn't make sense that all these commodities are down, but, the major media is actually admitting what's going on. You're seeing that the Dow is going up, closing in on 1,800 practically. It's 17.8, right? 17.8. S&P's moving up and everything. Crude oil is moving up very slightly. And I also mentioned that Harold Hamm, the self-made multi-billionaire, has dropped all his short positions on oil because he thinks it's going to go back up. And that's a pretty big indicator that this is not going to last too long. the supply and demand don't make any sense with the oil prices being down like this. But like I said, Saudi was being told by the USA to bring the prices down to kind of put the squeeze on Russia for its, events that was done in Ukraine. So anyway, but all the major media is actually admitting that the markets are kind of top heavy, but they can go into real higher bubblicious territory still and move in even higher before the freaking thing breaks. So who the hell knows where it's going to go to, really, It's like you got to have a pink rosy outlook with the markets in, as far as, but when it breaks, it's going to break fast and furious. Look at the lessons learned in the past from the housing market. And, they all broke on January 2007 was really like when it started crashing. And, people started thinking, well, it's not going to crash that much. It's not going to go down. It went down. And, people were buying into the crash. Well, when the Dow and the S&P crashes, it's going to go down pretty damn hard. And they're going to have to hit with Super QE. But Super QE is not going to be the thing it's going to be partly the thing that drives up the metals. But the main thing is going to be tensions in the Middle East. And I said that oil is going to be the thing that really kickstarts the metals going up a lot, the oil prices. And actually, the oil prices are way down. But I think that's very, very, very important information that Harold Hamm took off the shorts on the oil. Because, this guy was he came from like dirt poor background. He's a self-made multi-billionaire, 50th richest person in the world, not just the United States, in the world, and he got his money from oil, so he takes this out of his short position on oil. So what does that tell you, man? What does that tell you? Oil's going up. Actually, oil's going to be the thing that's actually going to kickstart the revolution for the metals. And the one thing we got to really look into is alternative energy, because that's the only way to really fight the elite, because they got us by the cojones with this oil. I could like to be running this shovel head with the 4-speed kickstart on some HHO hydrogen bombs in the front there. And you never know. Might come to fruition one of these days. It might come to fruition. But in the meantime, we got bigger demons to worry about, because the bigger demons, I think, are going to be Hillary Clinton. I think the next race is actually shaping up to be Jeb Bush versus Hillary Clinton. I'm thinking, man, that's a no contest garbage. In other words, it's a no choice. I'm going to vote for Mike Tyson. Well, I'm probably going to vote for the Libertarian or something. That's what I did last time. But, if I don't like the Libertarian, I'll vote for Mike Tyson. I'll put his name in here. But, I think when Hillary gets in, it's going to be like, I'll change her motto, really, underhanded motto is going to be, I'll change your daughter from a beautiful child into an empty shell. Because basically that's what happened with Hillary in the first place. The USA has some damn serious problems. And the thing is, it's not a strong leader that's going to save us. It's strong individuals that are going to save us. And to be strong individuals, you're going to have to get right down to nuts and bolts and hang on to that silver stuff. Because when it goes up, you're going to be kicking yourself in the ass you didn't buy it. I'm going to tell you that right now. But in the meantime, the watchword of the day is, according to Hillary anyway, don't insult the witch. But, lady, you are a witch. At least you admit you're a witch. I think that's going to be the next president, because damn, I hate to say it, I don't want her in. Hope she has a brain aneurysm or some shit. I don't really care, man. I don't like that lady. But I think Warren Buffett is telling us the truth about that deal. So anyway, if the witch gets in, maybe that's the whole damn idea, because New World Order is playing us like suckers with all these freaking popular leaders on one side of the globe versus the other side of the globe. You got Vladimir Putin playing his little part. And, actually, if you go way back, to the time of, what do you call it here, what the hell was his name, Gorbachev and everything like that, before that guy even stepped down, they were hooking him up with the Presidio in San Francisco. And, I'm going to tell you right now, it's like, the elite are all working with each other, man. So the one thing I have to say for you peasants, stay armed and stay well armed, because the light bulb's going to go on one of these days. And I tell you right now, man, your only recourse to take back your freaking your freedoms, it may be through the force of arms. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it is, man. That's the way it is. I mean, you got this deal. I mean, having arms is not a big deal to me because, like, if you look at what's going on in Ukraine, man, Ukraine, like you look at what the Russians are supplying a freaking supposed separatist and actually probably being trained by the Russian army himself. I mean, it's not just AK-47s and things like that, and AK-74s and all that other stuff. It's actually the latest version of the T-72 tanks and heavy machine guns, anti-aircraft batteries, special automatic grenade launchers, and everything else, man, and special portable anti-tank systems. So, I'd almost hate to see, like, if there was, like, really chaos in the world, man, the only thing that's going to take it back is individuals. But worshiping a leader, that ain't the way to go, man. That ain't the way to go. We're a constitutional republic. We will insult a witch. We don't care. And if we raise our daughters, we're going to raise her to be a beautiful child and not an empty shell. So, but as far as the metals go, there's going to be a major, what's going to bring it up, and I'm going to tell you right now, what's been going on this whole damn time, why it hasn't happened, is really not just because of Obama, but also Valerie Jarrett. If I'm saying her name right, but that's the one. That's the attorney that took Obama around in the beginning. Obama's around in the beginning, and she's the witch. She's the evil lady, not the one on the pink. She's the one over here. That's not her. But, Valerie's actually considered the de facto president. But she was born and raised in Iran. So she's actually setting a lot of the foreign policy in a lot of ways. There's been, Democratic insiders that said that, people can't even get close to Obama without going through her. I don't know why this lady's got so much power. At first, I didn't take that as too much on face value, but I'm realizing there's quite a bit of animosity almost between the administration of the United States and Israel. Even though Netanyahu's not mentioning that. But I'm going to tell you that, a lot of that's coming from Obama's Muslim Islamic leanings and also the fact that Valerie was born and raised in Iran. And that's changing the foreign policy a big time, So, but when that actually goes off, and that does send off into, the snake is released again. And when we were seeing major warfare in the Middle East, that's when your metals are going to go up. And I'm going to tell you one thing. Anybody that's invested in the actual S&P or the Dow is going to need major amounts of Prozac because you're going to see those markets drop like a stone, and you're going to see gold and oil go way up, and that's going to be the thing that's actually going to kickstart silver, So something's going to kickstart silver, but, it's not so much QE. One of the minor things that happened recently was the polls on the Swiss referendum. They're looking like it's going to go through, and it wasn't going to go through, now it looks like it's going to go through. If the Swiss referendum goes through, gold's going to go up. That's going to help it out. But what's really going to send gold through the stratosphere, it's going to be oil, man. Oil's going to kickstart the metals into the stratosphere. If you look at the relationship, and that's the thing that's so damn hard to predict, because now I'm seeing that, but the thing is, there's a whole other freaking political climate out there in, Washington, La La Land. And what's going on now, that since you got the Republican Congress, House, the whole thing, the whole Congress, the House of Representatives, and the Senate is now going to be in control of the Republicans. It might force more of Obama's hands on the Middle East, and if he pushes this immigration directive through, they might shut the government down soon, too. If they shut down the government due to Obama trying to push through this immigration amnesty thing for millions of immigrants, that's what some Republicans are saying. Now, I don't know if the top people are going to do that, because the top Republicans are usually socialistic communist sellouts, and a lot of the Republicans are freaking wishy-washy. I don't give a damn about political parties, man. I was fine with Trafficant. Remember the guy that just died recently. He's a Democrat from Illinois. He was a cool guy. I mean, I'm not really going by political party. You got to stand on your own 2 feet. But most anybody, no matter what party it is, once they get up there on the top, they're a load of shit. Basically, that's what it is. I'm going to tell you flat out. They really are. Once they get up to the top, they're a load of shit. One reason I'm kind of thinking, man, I wish Mike Tyson would run for president because he'd knock him out. You know, not only would he kick him in the head, man. It's like old girls trying to kick the heart star to Harley. But I'm going to tell you one thing. I realized, though, yeah, we're going to make some money on the gold and silver when this does go up. But fuel price is going to be way the hell up there. And I'm going to be working more and more on this HHO stuff. I got some other tricks up my sleeve on that deal because I want to not only get the idea for the mileage on the cars, but I also want to see if there's a way that we can store not HHO, but hydrogen. Because now I realize there's a way to split the hydrogen from the oxygen. We can use the oxygen to push for, make more quality ozone with the ozonators, with using pure oxygen. And we can use pure hydrogen, could be actually stored. Pure hydrogen, not HHO. HHO is very volatile. But the only way to really knock down elite is to pursue some of these things that we need to do. And, they're always trying to freaking, put smoke and mirrors in front of us with all this garbage and politics and, argument back and forth and religion to basically cloud what these people are really trying to do, which is control us. And they control us through conflict. So many times, even the alternative media, which I already think is a given, that the alternative media is just controlled opposition. Conflict produces change, baby. Conflict produces change. But I don't work for nobody, man. I'm only me. And I'm going to tell you right now, I usually see through the smoke pretty well. If I don't see through it right away, I see through it. I definitely will see through it pretty soon. And I do have a very good background on history, and I'm very, very, very well aware of the connection between the East and the West with the elite, and basically how they're all in cahoots with each other. Shit's been going on for a long, long, long time, man. Money and power is the game, baby. So, anyway, the word of the day, the erratic prices of gold, was actually due to the polls and the outlook for the Swiss referendum. But, and right now it kind of looks like it might pass. So, if it does, it does, But I'm always telling you people, though, that palladium probably will do better than gold and silver and platinum because of tensions with Russia. They have 43% of the production in their country. And the other thing is the stockpiles are rumored to be getting pretty low in palladium. And, you can always replace it if it gets too high, but you know how metals are. They can always super spike. It's going to be tough to guess when the exact spike comes, but, no matter what, you're probably going to make money on it. If you get it on exact top, you're going to make a hell of a lot of money. But I think palladium actually is going to be one of your better bets. So anyway, over and out.